The narration acknowledges that this whole situation, She-Hulk being stranded on a violent alien planet, starts as a joke. Not a funny ha-ha kind of joke, but a cruel one. The kind that only people with a very dark sense of humor find amusing. And even calling it a joke is being generous, because the reality of what She-Hulk has been put through is actually pretty brutal. We are told through this opening narration that She-Hulk was abandoned on Sakaar and Nevo by her cousin, the Hulk. Just left there. No explanation, no plan, no way back home. And since arriving, she is forced into one insane situation after another. She is made to stop violent food fights. She is dragged into attending weddings on an alien world. She has to deal with kings who proclaim themselves rulers for no good reason. She is forced to fight giant monstrous bugs. Visually, these opening pages show the immediate aftermath of what is clearly a very recent battle. There are bodies on the ground. There is dust and smoke in the air. She-Hulk herself is sitting in the wreckage of what looks like a settlement or a marketplace, and she is clearly hurt. She is next to a character named Juno, who is also in bad shape, and She-Hulk's expression is one of pure exhaustion and confusion. Juno's response to She-Hulk's question is one of the most important moments of dialogue in this issue, and it tells us a lot about who Juno is as a character and what kind of world Sakaar and Nevo actually is. Juno explains that her husband was a man named Hiro-Kala. If you know your Marvel Comics history, that name should ring a bell. Hiro-Kala is a significant figure connected to the Hulk's legacy on Sakaar. According to Juno, Hiro-Kala had genuine, meaningful plans to unite all of the different factions on Sakaar before he was murdered. His vision was for the entire planet to come together, to stop being a fractured collection of warring groups and warlords, and to become something unified and stronger. But he is killed, and now Juno looks at Sakaar and sees a planet that is broken. She sees a planet where the dominant power is someone like Corvin Blackjaw, a warlord who rules through fear and violence rather than any kind of genuine leadership. And Juno's position leads her to kill. Juno is not trying to create peace. She is trying to create something, power, control, unity, whatever it is, but she is doing it on Sakaar's terms. And on Sakaar, the rule has always been that the strong survive. The weak do not. We jump to a really intense action sequence that shows She-Hulk in a desperate fight. She has just survived an encounter with Jack of Hearts, a Marvel character whose power involves zero-point energy, and that encounter apparently ends with some kind of massive explosion. The narration describes it as surviving Jack of Hearts' zero-energy exploding uncontrollably, and then immediately after that, She-Hulk has to deal with what her own inner monologue calls an approximately 5 million foot fall. She is quick to note that this is slight hyperbole. It feels like 5 million feet, she says, even if it probably is not actually that high. The fact that She-Hulk can still be wry and self-aware even while she is in the middle of a life-threatening situation is one of the things that makes her such a compelling character. She is genuinely funny even when things are terrible. We see her getting hit, getting knocked around, falling again. The fight is brutal and chaotic. This sequence does a good job of showing just how overwhelming She-Hulk's situation is. It is not just one bad thing. It is layers upon layers of bad things stacked on top of each other, with barely any time to breathe in between. There is an enormous battle happening. We are talking about what appears to be some kind of giant mechanical creature or vehicle exploding and crashing, with fighters scattered everywhere around it. It is pure chaos. And in the middle of all this chaos, She-Hulk keeps her inner monologue going. She reflects on the fact that all she wants are simple things. A warm bath, a greasy burger delivered to her door. No murderous cults doing murderous things. That is it. That is all she asks for from her life. And instead, she is here, on a violent alien planet, fighting for her survival in the middle of an enormous battle. She is emotionally and mentally worn down. She has been in crisis mode since she arrives on Sakaar, and she has not had a single moment to just stop and process any of it. The mysterious figure approaches She-Hulk in the middle of all the chaos and offers her a deal. If She-Hulk does not want to die, then she should come with them. She-Hulk does not just accept this without pushing back. She wants to know why this person would help her. What is in it for them? She is a stranded alien on a planet full of people who mostly want to either use her or kill her. The mysterious figure responds by pointing out the alternative. She-Hulk could stay here and be left to the mercy of Corvin Blackjaw and Juno. Given that Corvin just has someone order She-Hulk's execution and Juno just walks away without helping, neither of those options sounds appealing. She-Hulk agrees to go with the figure, but on one condition: no killer robots from the future. This is played as a joke, but the mysterious figure does not seem to find it as funny as She-Hulk does. And then, before She-Hulk can say or do anything else, the figure hits her with some kind of powerful energy attack. She-Hulk gets blasted, a massive discharge of energy, and she goes flying. It is a genuinely surprising moment. You think the deal is being made, and then she is down again. The narration notes that, at this rate, She-Hulk thinks she might actually be better off with the time-traveling killer robot. The story shifts to what appears to be a quiet tent somewhere on Sakaar. We pull away from the big battle and into something much more personal and emotionally charged. Inside the tent, we see a young woman named Ilara Creed, and she is devastated. She is grieving, and her grief is raw and intense. Her father, Rowan Creed, tries to comfort her by talking about their own experience of loss. He explains that when her wife died, they felt like they would never be able to move forward, but they did, because the world keeps going, even when it feels like it should stop. Ilara's accusation is the emotional heart of this scene. She turns on her own father and accuses him directly. She tells him that he knows she loves Quaid, and that Rowan uses that knowledge to frame Quaid for the murder of a man named Mirren. She goes further, directly asking whether Rowan killed Mirren himself or whether he hired someone else to do it for him. And then she calls him out even harder, calling him the great Rowan Creed, merchant lord, building his empire on lies. Rowan Creed's response to his daughter's accusations is deeply chilling. He does not deny her accusations. He does not get angry and defensive. He does not break down and confess. Instead, he stays completely calm. He tells Ilara to be careful, as a warning, as a reminder that he is the one with power here. He then reframes the entire situation in the most manipulative way possible. Rather than addressing anything Ilara says, he pivots to her emotional state. He says that his daughter is overcome with grief and is not in her right mind. She needs oversight. She needs guidance. She needs to be managed. And to accomplish that management, he turns to the royal consul, a figure who is apparently the official governmental representative of Sakaar and Nevo. Rowan instructs the royal consul to take Ilara back to the palace and to make absolutely certain she does not leave without Rowan's express permission. He frames all of this as being for Ilara's own good. The royal consul steps forward and introduces himself. His name is Conrad, the royal consul and acting emissary of Sakaar and Nevo. He takes his instructions from Rowan Creed with a simple, "Sir." Ilara asks herself what she is supposed to do without Quaid, the person she loves, who is taken from her. The grief is real and heavy. Conrad acknowledges her grief. He tells her he is sorry for her loss, but he also tells her something more pragmatic and more interesting. He says that in his experience, it is not the gods who settle debts. It suggests that Conrad has a more complex moral framework than simply follow orders. He is telling Ilara carefully that debts get settled by people, by action, by choice. We return to She-Hulk, and the scene we find her in is not a comfortable one. A location title tells us we are now in the wilds of Sakaar. She-Hulk is chained up inside a tent. When she wakes up, the first thing she registers is the taste of blood in her mouth. She-Hulk's reaction is exactly what you would expect. She starts struggling against her chains. She's not going to just sit there and wait politely. A voice tells her to stop struggling and makes a promise: stop struggling and she will be let out. She-Hulk, understandably skeptical, points out the obvious problem. Why would she believe anything this person says? She has just been electrocuted and chained. The voice's response is simple: because they save her. The fact remains that this person pulls her out of a battle she probably would not have survived. That is the basis for trust being offered here. The chains come off, and She-Hulk gets her first proper look at the person. The leader begins to explain what this organization is and why it exists. She tells She-Hulk that she works hard to build a community, Not a war band, not a criminal organization, not a cult, a community. A place where people who believe in something can gather and not be reached by the forces that would want to destroy what they believe in. It is a sanctuary, a refuge. But as the organization grows, maintaining that secrecy and safety becomes harder. The more people you have, the harder it is to stay hidden. She apologizes to She-Hulk for the way she was brought in. She says it is uncomfortable, but it is necessary to protect what they have built. She cannot take the risk of She-Hulk being tracked back to their location, so she knocks her out first. She-Hulk's immediate concern is practical. She wants to know where Jack of Hearts is. The leader assures her that Jack of Hearts is safe, and with that established, She-Hulk can leave whenever she wants. The leader will share information, and in exchange, She-Hulk will hear her out. She-Hulk's inner monologue notes that she has just survived multiple near-death experiences and has no interest in listening to a long speech. But here she is. The explanation begins with why the Thousand Eyes exist. Many people on Sakaar believe that the planet should be more than just a hierarchy. Strength equals power. Power equals authority. And that has created a world where ordinary people are fighting over scraps, while the powerful elites live lavishly. She draws a comparison. People like Rowan Creed are concerned with things like their next custom-made suit, while the majority of Sakaar's population is fighting over food. Strength has always been the currency of Sakaar, she explains. But increasingly, strength comes to mean wealthy. She then brings up the Hulk. She says that when Hulk is on Sakaar, he accepts leadership because he earns the trust of the people around him. He leads because people need him to lead. She-Hulk listens to all of this and asks something that reveals her curiosity. Did the leader know Hulk personally? The leader tells She-Hulk her name, Elo Kaifi. She's a member of his Warbound. The Warbound are a group of fighters who are enslaved together in the gladiatorial arena on Sakaar. They fight alongside each other, survive together, and form an unbreakable bond. It is a family, a sacred bond of loyalty. We see a flashback image of the Warbound together. Hulk is there, alongside the other members, a group of wildly different beings forged into something extraordinary. Elo turns back to She-Hulk and acknowledges something. What She-Hulk did, defending Quaid and standing against Corvin Blackjaw, is not the smart thing to do, but it is the right thing to do, and Elo respects that. She then makes an argument about leadership. A ruler does not need to be smart. A ruler just needs to appoint smart advisors. She-Hulk has a law degree, a Juris Doctor, which means she understands systems and justice. She-Hulk senses where this is going and looks alarmed. And then Elo says it clearly. Ruler. She-Hulk's reaction is, wait, hold on a minute. Elo lays out the political case clearly and methodically, and it is actually a pretty compelling argument, even if it is also absolutely insane from She-Hulk's perspective. The people of Sakaar would support a Hulk as ruler. That legacy, that name, that history, it carries weight. The Hulk earns genuine loyalty and respect from the people of this planet. He is trusted. And a ruler who carries that name and that legacy would start with enormous goodwill and popular support. But Elo acknowledges the obvious question. What about her? Why is Elo not the one making this play? She is a Warbound member. She has history here. She has the connections and the legitimacy. Elo's answer is honest. The Thousand Eyes is about fear. It is a resistance organization, a shadow group. It is designed to keep people in line through the fear of being watched. That is a useful tool for a resistance movement. But it is not the kind of thing that leads a people. You cannot build a civilization on fear. Fear keeps people in line, but it does not inspire them. The gladiators have been decimated by Corvin Blackjaw's forces. Quaid is dead. The Burned Hand might have enough resources to oppose Corvin, but their alliance is uncertain. There is genuinely no one else. That is Elo's bottom line. The people need someone to rally behind, and they need it now. She-Hulk protests loudly. She is not the ruler of anything. She is an attorney from Earth. She does not belong here. She does not ask to be here. She cannot be what Elo is asking her to be. And then an arrow hits. because Corvin Blackjaw's men have tracked them, and the moment of political argument is suddenly replaced by immediate crisis. Corvin's forces descend on the camp, and She-Hulk immediately pivots to a fighter who protects people. Even as the battle starts, She-Hulk is processing everything Elo has told her. She reflects on her time on Sakaar. She has called this planet lawless and violent. She has complained about it, resented it, wanted to leave it behind, but she also looks after it. When Hulk asks her to, she accepts that responsibility. She might have complained, but she does the work. She stays, she fights, she protects people who need protecting. And now, in this moment, with Corvin's army bearing down on the camp and Elo's words still fresh in her mind, something crystallizes for She-Hulk. It takes being electrocuted. It takes nearly being killed by an unstable king. It takes being forced to fight the man she loves. It takes all of that for her to understand something she might have been resisting. The people of Sakaar just need someone to believe in, and Elo notes something obvious. That is an army out there. Corvin sends an entire army. She-Hulk's response is basically, yeah, this is the moment the entire issue has been building toward. She-Hulk stands before Corvin's approaching forces, and she says, simply, that she is a Hulk. Those words carry the weight of this series, of She-Hulk's history, of her identity both on Earth and on Sakaar. She is Jennifer Walters, attorney at law, someone who has spent years trying to establish herself as her own person, separate from her cousin's shadow. She is also She-Hulk, a hero with her own strengths and legacy, and she is a Hulk. With everything that means on Sakaar, with all the history and weight that name carries, and then she smashes. She-Hulk leaps into Corvin's forces with every ounce of power she has. The fight continues in a chaotic, extended battle sequence. Corvin's forces are not going down easily. They have aerial units, fighters on flying creatures, heavy weapons. They have numbers and expect to overwhelm resistance. What they do not expect is She-Hulk in full warrior mode with a clear purpose. The battle is big and action-packed. There is aerial combat, fighters being thrown, vehicles and ships being destroyed, and She-Hulk is in the middle of all of it. Corvin's forces do not take her seriously enough at first. Their commanders dismiss her, telling soldiers to keep pushing forward, that it is just one person. It is not easy. She-Hulk is dismantling them. She is smashing ships out of the sky. She is throwing soldiers. She is taking hits. She is not invincible. But she is giving back far more than she receives. Every hit makes her more determined. The tide of battle is turning in She-Hulk's favor. She-Hulk stands victorious in the aftermath. The battle is done. Corvin's forces have been routed or driven off. The camp, while battered, has been defended. She declares that it is over. She is standing in a battle-ravaged landscape, fires burning behind her, evidence of Corvin's defeated army around her. She is beaten up, she is exhausted, but she is standing. Elo appears beside her and confirms that all civilians are successfully evacuated. Everyone is safe. The mission is accomplished. Elo tries one more time to make her case. She tells She-Hulk that if she still does not think she is the right person to lead, she is welcome to keep refusing. Elo makes her final argument about the bond of the warbound. Being warbound is not just a label. It is a sacred bond of loyalty and trust, one that holds in life and in death. Elo is warbound with Hulk. She owes her life to him. She makes a sacred promise to his values. And she is telling She-Hulk that those values, protecting the weak, serving the people, leading out of necessity and care, are values that She-Hulk has already demonstrated. She demonstrates them today, against an army. The final page is a full-page image that serves as both the emotional climax and the setup for what comes next. She-Hulk is standing in the aftermath of the battle, surrounded by fighters and civilians of the Thousand Eyes. Elo kneels. She draws her blade and holds it forward as an offering, as a pledge. She tells She-Hulk that her blade is with her, and then she calls her something new. Around Elo, other warriors are kneeling as well, members of the Thousand Eyes, fighters who watch She-Hulk take on an entire army to protect them. They are pledging their loyalty. They are accepting her as their leader, not because they are told to, but because she earns it. She proves herself, she fights for them, and she wins. She-Hulk's expression in this final image is complicated. It is not triumphant. It is something more mixed, the look of someone who has been presented with a massive responsibility and is deciding whether to accept it.